record. Perfect. So, welcome everyone. I was saying that the fact that you decided to spend your Saturday afternoon with us, we feel very special and we're super excited to have you here with us today on this afternoon. So, thank you very much for joining in early. A couple of people have been in the waiting room for a while. So, thank you so much for being very punctual. Think that's something we'd love to encourage and appreciate at Inspire Africa. So, welcome. We promise that it's going to be a very interesting journey for you. I like sessions like this. And one of the things that I like to do in sessions like this is to really have my notes and then my pen and to think of it as each time the speaker makes a point, I would like to make notes on action points. What are the things I'm going to start doing, or what are the things I'm going to stop doing after this meeting? So I hope you have your pen. I hope you have your jotter. So we're gonna give a couple of minutes for people to join in. It's a Saturday, so a lot of things are happening. So give a couple of minutes for people to join in. However, while we're waiting, if you could just tell us where you're joining from and what has been the best part of today for you. While we wait for other people to join in. We'll start in a couple of minutes. So where are you joining from? Put it in your chat box and what has been the favorite part of today for you. So I think the favorite part of today has been waking up actually. Just being awake and just excited to be here to join you guys. So feel free to put in the chat box while we wait for we'll have a couple of minutes, we'll start exactly by 12:05 so that we're able to launch in fully to what we have. We'll have a lot of stuff for you today. So take a couple of minutes to wait for people. But while we're waiting, you guys should not air me, please. What has been the favorite part of today for you and where are you joining from? Welcome, Gertrude. Welcome, everyone. I'll start calling names if nobody answers. I'm like that. I'm that teacher that you don't like. So, please.
I'll just turn on my camera. Hi, OJ. Hi, everyone. So, I'm calling in from Luton, in the UK. It's very hot. Yeah. But I think it's a bit chilly today, so I'll take it like that. I mean, we complain about the weather being like a chameleon, 1 minute it's raining, the next minute is blah blah, but it's been quite hot. At least we've gotten some sun for the past couple of days, so all good. This weekend I'll just be watching some maybe Netflix. There's this movie that I'm sure you guys will know.
Bridgerton.
I'm not Nigerian, so forgive me if I don't pronounce it well. Is it Oloture? It's about human and sex trafficking. Yeah, the sequel just dropped yesterday on Netflix, so I'll just be watching that today, and maybe other series. Young Sheldon, I think that the next season is up, and Savage Beauty as well. It's all Netflix, so I'll be busy on Netflix this weekend. Yeah.
Do you have space in your room, Gertrude, or in your house? Because I think that I should come and join you.
I wish I did, my dear.
It's interesting. I think thank you very much, Gertrude. So thank you for sharing what you having planned for today. So I think that most times people in the UK complain a lot about the weather. There's never a perfect weather for UK people.
Yeah.
It's not hot, it's cold. It's not cold. It's like, I hate the weather. But yeah, I think I get that. I get that feeling. So thank you for sharing. So if anybody if they're looking for something to do, please reach out to Jessie. She has a lot in store for today. So we're going to be starting very shortly. Thank you very much. So Joanne says she's joining from Nigeria. The favorite part of today is this meeting. Thank you. That is so heartwarming. The fact that we are your favorite part of today, that's so sweet. And then Koyone, I hope I'm pronouncing your name very well. So Koyone is joining from Cross River, Nigeria. The favorite part of today for her is the breakfast that she ate. That's good. That's good. So for fellow foodies like Koyone, that's awesome. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. So to everyone who just joining, we're just kind of we're waiting for you to tell you how important you are to us. And we're just talking about today, how today, the favorite part of today. Sadia is joining from Castina. Oh, the favorite part of today is surprise pizza. OJ, did you get that? I deserve surprise pizza from you. I feel like I've worked so hard for this. So, but anyways, welcome everyone. So we're going to get to it. And like I said, we're super excited to have you today. We've planned for this, and this is like a very important meeting to us. And we're so happy that you made out time for us today. So I think I can overstress that. So I'll just start with running through a little bit of the agenda of how today will go. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Chidima Oli, obviously from the name on the screen. I'm the executive director of Inspire Africa. And also here with me is OJ, who is the operations manager and also co-founder of Inspire Africa, and I think some of our team members. So one of our team members just joined in, so perfect timing. So today we're going to be talking about career planning. How do you plan your career? I think the first experience I had with this was a couple of years ago. I actually attended a session and then someone talked about career mapping. I never knew you could map out your career. So that's all we're going to be talking about. Then we have an amazing speaker who has really put in a lot of time and effort. You're going to enjoy it today, I can assure you. Okay. So just to run through a little bit of brief of how today is going to go. This is me doing the welcome. So welcome once again. And then we'll have a time to introduce our speaker. And during the session, there will be more like conversations and networking and, just conversations back and forth. And there will also be a time for you to ask your questions. So I thought it would be interesting to just run through a little bit of what we do as Inspire Africa, particularly just for those who are for our external guests. Some of our mentees are here, more will be joining in as we progress. So what we intend to do at Inspire Africa, and really our vision, our mission actually, is to create a safe space for African women to help them connect, grow, and to achieve their full potential. It's just really summary. And the major way we intend to do this is through mentorship. Our general belief is that people do better when they see better. So that's what we want to do. Our broad vision is to provide thorough mentorship, guidance, networking opportunities, and as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, to be a safe space for African women to connect, learn, and grow. And we intend at the longer run to be the leading mentorship group for African women looking to grow professionally. That's our broader vision. And that's part of the reasons why we're doing this, to find a way to connect with other people outside what we do. We have a very thorough mentorship program. We're not going to be talking about that today, but towards the end of the session, we're going to share links. You can follow up on what we do and all we're all about. Just a little bit of housekeeping rules before we go into the main session, because I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk. I'm not the one you came to hear today. Sadly, you have to bear with me for a couple of minutes. So just to ensure an easy transition and just to ensure that we have like a very beautiful experience, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. If the meeting is recorded, and because of that, we want to have people to go through later. And you can also find it very helpful actually to go back and kind of like look through, what did I learn? How far have I grown? Please raise your hands if you want to ask questions, and then there will be a specific time for your questions and answers. So at that moment, you can raise up your hands, don't interrupt. You can also drop your questions in the chat box in between. We'll definitely ensure that your questions are answered. And we love to see your faces, right? So please put on your cameras if you're comfortable with that. And then also we're in a virtual world. There's no way to see if you're really engaging. So one of the things we encourage people to do is kind of like use the reactive buttons, love, the emojis, everything, and kindly engage in all the activities and surveys. Our speaker has a very interactive session planned out for us. So we're going to move into the presentation proper. Before we do that, I'd like to welcome our speaker for today. So Dr. Praise is a public health professional, and she's committed to improving health outcomes at human-animal ecosystem interface. I know it's a lot, it's a mouthful, but that's what our speaker does. She's that good. So she holds a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree from Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nigeria. She also has a master's in One Health from the Royal Veterinary College, where I think I have been to, thanks to OJ, and London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Her career spans across health system strengthening, program management, donor coordination, and research in NGO, government, and in the international development sector. She's a 2019 Commonwealth Shared Scholar, and she was named a Rising Motherland Mogul in Healthcare by She Leads Africa in 2024. And she's also recognized by TEDx Oluyole as an inspiring woman in social development in 2023, amongst other awards. So Dr. Adeyemo runs Preneed Consulting, a consulting agency that helps graduate school and job applicants secure their dream programs and jobs. She also volunteers for the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, where she contributed to policy changes and youth participation and initiatives. So this is a mouthful, and this is a summary, right, of what all our speaker does. So without much ado, I'm going to welcome Praise to take it over from here. Thank you so much, Dr. Praise, for just deciding to spend Saturday. I feel like anyone who decides to spend a Saturday with someone, it's the other person is a special person. So thank you so much, and I'll hand over to you now. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chidima, OJ rather, and the team. I'm just going to share my screen. I've been given 45 minutes to run us through all of this. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to start right away. Please let me know what you can see.
We can see your desktop screen. Okay, perfect.
Can you
see
see
your
my
slides.
screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Chidima already introduced me, so I'm going to skip introductions. But I just need to say that I'm very excited to be here. I'm happy to be talking about the topic, career mapping or planning. It wasn't just because I was preparing for this session, but it was also a process for me to reflect on my own career journey and how I've been able to get to where I'm currently at. So as Chidima already mentioned, it's going to be very interactive. So I hope you have your notepads and your writing material, maybe a pen or pencil with you. Okay, so today we'll definitely talk about the session objectives, what I hope you'll be able to learn in the next sort of 5 minutes. After that, we'll then go on to talk about what career planning really means. And an integral step to planning your career is definitely trying to understand who you are as an individual. So we'll talk about understanding yourself and how you can understand yourself better. Then we'll move on to setting career goals, which you need to do before you can even map your career. And then we'll move on to creating your career map and navigating challenges. So for those of us that are here, if you have your phone or you have any other device, even the device you're currently using, I want you to go to slido.com. Sorry, please give my slides some minutes to boot. Yes. So I want you to go to slido.com, or you can just, if you have another device, maybe a phone, you can scan the QR code that we have on the screen. So when you go to slido.com, please input the code 2720534. And let us just share what our expectations for this session really are. So what are your expectations for this session? I can't see the number of people currently on this call, but I want to, yeah, we have 18 participants on this call, myself inclusive. Okay, thank you. So I just want us to, write what our expectations for this session really are. I'm also going to be doing it, so I have my phone with me. Okay, people are typing. More people should type. What are your expectations for this session? What are you looking forward to? What have you heard about career planning? What are the things that you're not so sure about that you need clarity on? What do you expect to take out of this session? Okay, someone has said network and gain knowledge. We need more people to learn more on restructuring my career plan. Okay, that's great. Some people already have their career plans that they want to restructure. Cool. What about other people? Please, can we have more people? Okay, great. Someone said path or draw. So I'm seeing that my internet connection is unstable. Please let me know when you can't hear me or when I'm buffering or my audio is muffled. Okay. So to learn more on restructuring my career plan, I want to learn how to map my career and plan my career. I want to assess my career readiness. Okay, career is a buzzword. Okay, cool. I'm saying structuring. Okay, some people feel confused. Okay, networking, assess career readiness. Networking is like a major theme. All right. Okay. So as we, yeah, you can keep typing. I think I'm just going to give us 1 more minute before we move on. Okay. Yeah, I'm so happy you've written some of this, so which means that I'm also on the right track in attempting to, answer some of these things with the objectives we already have. So someone has said career exploration. That's incredible. All right, so we have a couple of more seconds before we move on. Section actionable plans and following suit. That's incredible. Okay. All right, I think we've had enough responses and we can move now. So yes, I'm so happy that, one of the things I really wanted to, achieve with this particular task of us trying to write our expectations was I wanted to see if, the way I've structured the presentation will be answering some of the questions or some of the things that you have. So today, our objectives are centered around 3 themes. The first is you understanding the importance of career planning and what that entails. Why should you even bother with career planning or mapping, how to identify your career goals, you sitting down and doing some sort of introspection or reflection on your career goals, and then learning how to create a personalized career map. All of these definitely align with the expectations that you have written. So thank you very much. So now, in case you're wondering, oh, so this person talking to us, who is she? I know Chidima already read my bio, but I also wanted to be very real with this session. And that is why I came up with this slide to just explain what my own career journey has been like. As you see later on in the presentation, I would keep emphasizing on the fact that your career map is not going to be one straight line. It's going to be up, down, circular, spiral, depending on the different things that you need to do. But what is most important in mapping out your career is having a goal. So now, looking at my own story or my own career journey, I would say that what really helped me, it's still a process. I'm still very young, and I know I have a long career ahead of me. But what has helped me so far is the fact that I sort of had an idea. Now, I'm not going to say I knew exactly what I wanted. I would say I had an idea of where I was going. So even though when I wasn't sure of my future plans, the very first thing that I was able to do for myself was to understand what I did not want to do. So many people, they feel like I need to know what I want. I need to know what I want. It's okay if you don't know what you want. And it's even more okay if you know what you don't want. All right, so in 2018-19, between 2018 and 2019, this was where I wasn't sure of the future. I was in my final year of veterinary med, or I think 2018 was when I graduated from vet school. I definitely knew I did not want to practice veterinary medicine for personal reasons. It's not as if there's anything wrong with that sector. Of course, that was when I graduated from uni, and then I was one of those people that before I finished uni, I already had a job. And how I got the job was because I knew I wasn't going to practice veterinary medicine, or I didn't want to practice veterinary medicine. I had to ask myself, what are the things that I'm interested in? What are the things that I love? And I saw that I really loved public health, and I had very good grades in public health courses during my veterinary medicine degree. And so I decided to reach out to different, I remember reaching out to a lot of public health organizations that I saw online, even when I didn't really understand, the entire scope of public health. If it was a public health organization, I reached out to them. Some of them didn't have vacancies, but what I always did was I really sent cold emails asking to be a graduate intern in those organizations, even though I wasn't a copper or anything. And I was so happy that quite a number of organizations reached out, but I eventually settled for a public health NGO in Lagos, where they allowed me to become a graduate intern. And then from becoming a graduate intern, I did my NYC with them, became a program associate with them. Fast forward to 2019, 2020, I went for my master's. In the process, I had a summer internship. I attended a lot of career fairs. Don't forget networking. Then I started a business, right? Then 2020 to 2021, you see that it's not straight. It's a lot of different things. In 2020, between 2020 and 2021, I came back to Nigeria. I joined the Lagos Ministry of Health, where I was a consultant on grants management. I took a lot of public health courses. I was strengthening my writing skills. Then I published my master's thesis 2021 to 2023. I joined the same public health NGO. I went back to the same public health NGO I was at before I went for my master's. I went for a One Health summer school. I got a diploma in One Health / antimicrobial resistance. I did something completely different from public health. I worked for a global NGO that is very focused on girls and young women, where I wanted to build my skills in strategy. And then I took a lot of project management.
Okay, thank you so much for this section. I really gained a lot.
Oh, please, can I go on?
Yes, please. Thanks. Sorry about that, Praise. Please, we kindly encourage everyone to mute their mic so that the speaker is not interrupted. Thank you, Praise. Please go ahead.
Okay, and so from 2023 to, there's X there, I don't know when or how long or what's next, but this is where I'm currently at. Maybe in the future I'll get a PhD. Maybe in the future I'll actually be certified in project management. Maybe in the future I'll take French classes, but I'm currently working as an independent contractor at a global health organization. Now, I wanted to put this here so that you wouldn't think that it's always going to be from point A to point B is a straight journey. It's going to come with a lot of different things. Now, another thing that I also wanted to point out here with my own career journey is the fact that I want to end up in health policy somehow, public health policy using One Health ideas or initiatives to influence health policy and what have you. And so I did some sort of career mapping some years ago, where I knew that I would need skills in research, I would need skills in project management, I would need skills in strategy, I would need to go beyond my 9 to 5 to also take some courses. And that is why it looks like I dabbled into different things. So I dabbled into different things, but the goal is still the same. I would get there eventually. So let's start with understanding career planning. So why should you even bother at all with career planning? Now, the thing with career maps or plans is that they're just a visual representation. The way you'd have, what is this thing called? A vision board. So if you're in the fashion space, they call it a mood board, or if you're a photographer, I call it a mood board, where you push different things together of what you want your personal look to look like, or a vision board where you put different pictures of different people that are doing different things that you are interested in. So your career map is, a visual representation that helps you to gain clarity on your career journey and the steps. Now, the purpose of the map is for you to know what steps you need to take to achieve your goals. Again, it's going to have a lot of ups and downs, so you need to prepare your mind Some people have it, very linear, but most people, it's really like a roadmap. If you check Google, if you're going from one place to the other, Google Maps, you see it's like this, it's like this, it's like this. It doesn't mean you're not focused. It just means that you're doing whatever it takes for you to get to the destination. Now, the career planning or mapping process would help you to, be more self-aware, which means you understand yourself better. It also helps you to actually identify and pen down or write your career, your dream career and goals. It would also help you to identify the things you need to really put in place in terms of the steps you need to take, the resources you require, maybe people you need to talk to and what have you to achieve those goals. And at the end of the day, all of this will culminate into you having a plan. Please let me know if I'm too fast or if you can't hear me at all. So now let's start with understanding yourself. I don't have a quote here, but it's a quote that I always love. And I love rather, and I always try to introspect on, reflect on. And that's the quote by, I think it's William Shakespeare, where he said, "Man, to thyself be true, and thou can therefore be false to no man," meaning you should be true to yourself. You cannot lie to yourself. You can lie to everybody, but don't lie to yourself. And so when you're at the point of not lying to yourself, then you won't have to exactly prove a point to other people. Do you know what I mean? So I hope you have your pen and or your writing materials with you. This is where I want you to start reflecting. So the first thing you need to do when you're trying to understand yourself is to actually ask yourself, what do I want to do? And if in my own case, if you're someone like me, what is it that I don't want to do? I don't want to be small girl, big God. That is very good. We can write that. I don't want to be Ron's girl. That's okay. I don't want to be so and so. That is fine. But if you know what you want to do, you can write it down. Or I want to end up in, as I've said, in health policy, using One Health approach and all of that. That is my own dream. That is what I want to do. So the next question you need to ask yourself is, what skills do I have? Sometimes we lie to ourselves, and sometimes we underestimate or undervalue ourselves. So this is where you need to ask yourself, what are my soft skills? Do I have good communication skills? Do I have people management skills? Am I someone who pays a lot of attention to details? Reflect on what your soft skills really are. And then what are your hard skills? What can you do? I'm a tech guru. I know how to use so and so software. I know when it comes to Excel, I know I'm good. When it comes to PowerPoint, oh, I'm very, very good. When it comes to Python, Java, or when it comes to event planning, what are the art skills that you have? You need to ask yourself all of these questions, not mentally, but also write them down. All right, we're still in the process of understanding yourself. Now, the third thing is, what are my areas of interest? Now, I'm going to talk about passions later, but the difference between interest and passion is interests are more short-term, while passions are long-term, okay? So what are my areas of interest? What are the topics or areas I'm currently vibing with? At the moment, I think I'm very interested in neglected tropical diseases. Sorry, I'm a public health person, so most of my examples are going to be related to that. Oh, I think I'm very interested in public health. This thing is making sense. Okay, I think I like it. I think I'm interested in fashion. And this is not for it to be all over the place. So even if it's all over the place, you're being true to yourself, right? So list out all your areas of interest. I'm interested in this, this is what I'm liking. It's like music is the in thing now with all this, so let me enter studio and go and start singing. If that's your own, just write what your area of interest really is. Now you need to ask yourself, what are my values? What are those things I'm not going to compromise on? This is very important. And I think this particular one, number 4, what your values are, is something that people really miss out on when they're trying to map their careers. if you are the type of person that tradition, culture, religion are part of your values, the things that you would never compromise on. So it means that you'll be looking for an organization that is very big on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you're the type of person that you want your values are aligned with what's it called, work-life balance. So those are things you want, an environment where you can still go to work and come back and take care of the children and your family and all of that. So it means that's something you don't want to compromise on. So you need to write those things down. What are your values? And the fifth thing is what I had mentioned, your passions. Now, your passions are more long-term. So what are the courses you are passionate about? What are the topics you are passionate about? Usually permanent. For someone like me, I've always been passionate about the girl child. I've always been passionate about, feminist topics. Please, that's not, we're not talking about feminism today. So please don't get me wrong and don't get me started on feminism, please. Yeah, I don't mean man hating, man is superior, woman. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean by feminist courses, I mean, when girls go to school, there's so many parts of the world where period is still an issue. Menstrual hygiene is a big deal. Girls go to schools where they don't have water. Someone like me, I'm passionate about that, and I've been passionate about it, and I feel like that's my personal passion. That's something I'm passionate about. It's long term, it's permanent. So I hope we've all, taken some notes, and you have time to like reflect on all of these 5 things that will help you to understand yourself. Because if you don't understand yourself, you won't be able to map a good career for yourself. And again, I know that for some of us, the courses we're studying in university are a bit different from the things we're interested in, the skills that we have, what we can do. That's okay, we'll get there, okay? So let's move to setting career goals. So what you're trying, I'm coming back to this slide on understanding yourself. What all of this helps you to do is to be able to, you look at what you want to do, the skills you have, your areas of interest, your values, your passions, and there's certain things that might be jumping out at you. I want you to circle those things. So what I mean, things jumping out at you, what I mean by that is, are there certain trends or things that you see as similar? So I want you to circle those things. So now let's move to career goals. So goals are very important because you can't have a map. It's very simple. I want you to look at it this way. I live in Abuja, and if I'm going from Gwarinpa to Maitama, and I don't know exactly how to get there, I'm going to put my current location in Gwarinpa on the map and put where I'm going to at Maitama on the map. Okay, so my final destination is Maitama. So I need to have that final destination at the back of my mind before I start mapping. Do you understand? That's how Google Maps work. And it's the same way with career mapping. You need to have your goals. What's your final goal? You want to be Alaji's wife. It's a good goal. So you can write that down if that's your final goal. That's your long-term, that's your final destination, to be Okwemi Oga or Oga's wife or any of those things. That's incredible. But please, for other people that are very career-driven, think about what your long-term goal is. Do you want to be, do you want to work at the UN later on as the Secretary General, or work at the WHO, or work at Goldman Sachs? You want to work at Wema Bank? You want to work at Barclays? You want to work at Microsoft, any of those places? But don't just say my long-term goal is to work at Microsoft. You make it smart, which I'm not going to go into. I want to believe most of us, it's very popular: smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So you're like, oh, my long-term goal, maybe when you're 30 or 40, might even be you want to retire early or something. But my long-term goal is to, be XYZ at XYZ. So to be the leading project management expert in the finance sector or fintech space by 2022, something like that, long term. Now, it gets more interesting because it's your short-term goals that would help you to reach your long-term goal. So now that you know what your long-term goal is, I want you to think about the smaller bits and pieces, the smaller bits and pieces that would help you to get to that goal. And so your short-term goals is you taking your final goal and into smaller, more manageable steps. These goals should be specific, measurable, and achievable within a certain time frame. So I want you to write in the comments what you think. Someone should just write a random long-term goal and give us 2 or 3 short-term goals that would help us achieve that long-term goal. Can we do that? So in the chat box, I want us to think of a long-term, just a random, it might be for yourself, it might be for, it might be a random example, but I want you to think of a long-term goal and list 2 or 3 short-term goals that would help, whoever that person is, achieve their long-term goal. Can we write that in the chat box? Yeah, so I'm just going to open my chat here just to see if anyone is writing anything. Okay. Let me go first and give an example. So if person A's long-term goal is, as I mentioned the other time, to be a leading project management expert in the fintech space in sub-Saharan Africa by 2045, that's a long-term goal. Okay, Gertrude has given us one example. Let me quickly finish with the example I started with. The short-term goals might be 1, to take a project management course or to be certified in, PMP, which is project management professional, or Scrum or Prince 2 or what have you. The second short-term goal, they're breaking it into not just pieces, but steps. And they're like, oh, once I do that, the next thing is I need to start looking for organizations in the fintech sector, and they apply there and they start working there, and then whatever that is. So thank you, Gertrude. Let us look at Gertrude's example. So Gertrude is saying that the long-term goal would be to be a renowned actress, but to be a renowned actress, the short-term goals would be take acting classes, attend auditions, have mentors to keep you focused whilst at it. I love it. This is like a very good example. And so we'll be moving on, but this is how you really think about your short-term and long-term goals. Your long-term goal comes first, but your short-term goal set is the bits and pieces that help you to achieve your long-term goal. Okay, we have more examples I am going to share. So Jane is saying the long-term goal is to work at Al Jazeera. That makes sense. But to get there, you need to have a BSc in communication grades. You need to volunteer or work at a top TV, volunteer or work at top TV stations. I agree. Attend all Al Jazeera workshops. This is very incredible. Now, the reason this is incredible is because this Jane is thinking around networking and how you can leverage networking to get into your final destination. Excellent. Light is saying a long-term goal, or this person's long-term goal, is to be a leading HR personnel. But to get there, you need to take HR certifications and work with companies, attend HR workshops and events. I completely agree with you. Shadia is saying be a program manager with a reputable international organization. Short-term, you take program management courses and get a job offer in any international organization. I love it. Susan is saying to work with the UNFCCC as an expert, as a climate scientist. Great. Short-term will be higher education and improve my programming skills, volunteer and network with senior colleagues. Excellent. I also need to mention that for the things you need to include in your short-term goals, you might get to know or identify those things through networking, which we'll talk about later. But I see that there is one other comment. Joanne is saying want to be a professor in public health, and to achieve that, you need to take online courses in public health, volunteer with NGOs, and take a master's course in public health. Great. I mean, you get a gist, so I'm going to move on. So Now, let's start with creating your career map. As I said, one thing that can help you to even know how you plan your short-term goals or what your short-term goals might be that would lead to your long-term goal would be to ask questions. Reach out to people in similar career paths and ask questions. And how you can do that is go on LinkedIn, leverage social networks, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. Join professional bodies if you can, especially for our accounting folks. There's a lot of professional bodies in the accounting space that you can join. Okay. I mean, you have to write exams to get into those bodies, but you also need to attend networking events. There was a time Shilit Africa used to organize networking events. I don't know if they still do that, but it's not only Shilit Africa. There are a lot of other organizations that organize networking events. Perhaps in the future, Inspire Africa is going to be organizing networking events where they bring different professionals and mentors together. So you need to ask questions. You can go online, that is fine, but you need to actually ask questions from the people that are doing what you're interested in. So many of us are scared of reaching out to people on LinkedIn, but people won't bite you. Send a connection request and say, oh, I like your profile. I was wondering if you could provide clarity on so and so. Let me share this example with you. When I knew eventually, many years after I graduated from vet school, when I knew what I wanted to do with my life and I had an idea of my long-term goal, I started asking questions. At all the different people that asked the same question from different parts of the world, people in Africa, people in the UK, people in Europe, people in US, they had, there were certain things, they all said different things, but I could pick the trends in the different things they were saying. So in my head, I was like, this person is saying you need to do this, and the other person is saying you need to do that thing, another person is saying you need to do that thing, another person is saying you need to do that thing. Then it means that to get to where I'm going, since these are people who have taken that path, then it means I need to do that particular thing they've done. So, and again, it's not as if everybody's career journey is going to be the same, but you'll be able to see trends and patterns in the career journeys or stories of people doing what you want to do. Now, research, as I said, I mean, the first one is you asking questions directly, but the second one is similar to it. It's the same goal, right? So you're now going on LinkedIn, you're reading a lot of blogs, you are beginning to look at the career paths of different people. You're seeing, okay, this person, I can't talk to them directly, but wait, I can check their profile, I can check their profile, and you're seeing patterns, you're seeing trends. Maybe it's in the type of schools they went to. This person that is currently something at the UN, person who spoke about being a climate change expert or specialist, you see that all the people that are currently or that have done this thing that I want to do, they went to a type of school, or this was a particular course they took. Oh, this is their professional experience. This is what it's looking like. And these were the kind of places they work. And then you see trends. And that is not to say you have to pattern your life after one person, but identify the trends, okay? And now you want to read biographies of people doing what you want to do. Now, I'm going to show you an example of what this looks like for me. I'm not going to lie. You see these three women, they embody every single thing I want. My short-term goals, my long-term goals. Now, that is not to say that you're going to have people doing everything that you want to do in one picture. But I was like, what are the odds? These three women are doing everything I want to do. Now, you see the first person being the director of Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. That's not what I'm interested in. But senior technical advisor on NTDs. I'm like, I have a passion. No, sorry, not passion. I'm interested in neglected tropical diseases. That's something I definitely love. And then I see Dr. Moeti, who is the WHO Regional Director for Africa. I'm like, maybe that won't be bad. Maybe that's something that I might get to later on. And then I see Dr. Kanem, who is the UN Under Secretary General and Executive Director of UNFPA. These are all public health pundits. These are all public health experts. I'm like, okay, there's a way, at different points of these women's careers that what they've done fits into what I want to do. And so I have identified the trends in their career path, and somehow I have an idea of what I need to do to get to my final goal. So in terms of practical steps, a worksheet is going to be shared with you later, all right? But what I need us to do right now, and I had said that it's never going to be linear, okay? Although on the screen we have moving from point A to point B, right? But at the end of the day, it's going to be everywhere, all over the place. But let's get started. So on a sheet of paper, if you have a sheet of paper with you, I want you to draw a straight line as you have it on the screen. Now, at point A, write A and B. At point A, please, Chidima, please let me know how I'm doing with time. I think I have 5 more minutes or so. I'm not too
Yeah,
sure.
I think we're pretty good. You have
Okay.
more time. Yeah, when you're 5 minutes in, I'll let you know.
Okay, great. Thank you. So now I want you to draw a straight line and then write point A and point B. So what you're doing with point A is you're going to think about your life, not in a derogatory way, but you're going to do a career audit where you are at the moment, even if you're a student. Do an audit of yourself. Don't forget that thing that we mentioned the other time about understanding yourself. Now, write out, how much am I earning now? Or more? I know life, 450K. My job title, communications officer. Okay. What am I known for? I'm known for being a comms expert. Okay, social media, all of those things. Okay. My area of expertise are social media management and all of that. Okay. That's my core. So you do a current career audit. I mean, the list is not just this. Just think about every single thing related to your career at this point of your life. Today, June 29th, 2024. Then move to point B. That your future goal that we talked about, your final goal. Where do you desire? Now you see that the word here is desire. Because as I said, your career path, your career map is not going to be linear. Nothing is cast in stone. It's just a process that provides clarity. It might change later on, but at least it helps you to have a place to start from. So now think about your future. Where do you desire to go? What do you desire to be renowned for? What is your desired career goal? Your dream job, your dream income. So here, we started with point here being a comms officer, and you're like, it wouldn't be bad though. Where I desire to go? World Bank as the person in charge of their comms. So you write, where I desire to go is World Bank. What I desire to be renowned for, to be the leading voice for communications when it comes to anything finance or something. My desired career goal, that's it. My dream job, to be that comms specialist. I don't know what it's called, right? I mean, it's just hypothetical. My dream income, I'm currently on 400K or 450K. That one, if I'm going to be at the World Bank in the next, let's say 10, 15 years, and it's possible. Let me see. And I should be earning like $100,000 per year. Shouldn't be bad. And then you write that down. Okay, I mean, it's just hypothetical. So this is you being realistic with yourself. Now you've written your point here, you've done a career audit, and then you've written what you desire, your future career for point B. Now look at point A and point B and ask yourself, how am I going to get here? Am I going to teleport? Am I going to turn back the hands of time? Am I just going to disappear into the future? And the question is, or the truth is, that is where the mapping starts from. All the other things we've been talking about is like, you setting the ground to help you have some clarity, but the map itself, the steps, it is at this point you start thinking about it. So now, as I mentioned, the career map steps are, the first is you audit your current status, and then you identify your desired roles. That's what we have at point B. But the first step is you will need to identify the skills and the experience you need. So moving from point A to point B, what are the things you need to do? So in this our hypothetical example, this person needs to start thinking about, I need to take a course in so. And I already have actually, even though I'm doing communications, but it's actually microbiology I studied though. I need to bridge the education gap. Okay, maybe I need to take some courses on comms, and I'll take courses on Coursera. Maybe I should go for a master's in communications. No, instead of master's, maybe there's a fellowship for African fellows or something related to comms. Maybe I should look for. So you start writing all of those things down. Okay, I need to build my skill in this. I need to, oh, this is the current skill I have, but if I'm going to get to point B, I need to improve that particular skill or this particular skill. I need a better job experience. Maybe I need to ask for a raise at work so that I can expand what I'm doing. So when I talk about raise, it's not just in terms of income, it might also be in terms of the scope of work. And I need them to give me more work so that I can build my experience faster. You know, that is the real thing where you begin to write out, if I'm going to get to this place, no, I need a master's. I need to I need to gain more experience. I need certification courses. I need to learn a language. What bank? I need to learn French. Oh, no, Spanish. Will be good. Let me learn 2 or 3 more languages. Okay, that will be good. Okay, if I'm going to learn a language, where do I go? There is Alliance Française. Okay, there's Spanish substitute. Let me download Duolingo. I mean, you're really thinking all the things that you need, okay? And all those things, that process of you beginning to, think through the skills and the experience and the resources you need or you require, then helps you to come up with a plan. So in the example that I gave, you see that I mentioned some plans. So I'll start with the last one. If this person is saying that they need to learn another language, then it means their plan in terms of language, right, would be to maybe find out from Institut Français or Alliance Française how much French classes cost, when is the next intake. Okay, if they need to take a course, okay, they need to start checking a master's in communications in Africa or something. They need a fellowship. Okay, fellowships in, that is where you begin to actually put, I need to do this. So it's going from, point 3, where you identify, these are the things that need to be done that are required, to you saying, okay, I've identified the things needed, the things required. What will I do as a person to, make all of those things come into reality? And that's, my sisters, my peephole, is how you map your career. Okay. You'd notice that by the time you're done, you might have something that looks like a web. Yours might be a straight line, lucky you. Yours might be a cross. Yours might be a cross that has different branches. But don't forget, the most important thing is the plan, the action plan part of it. So with all of this information and this auditing and you knowing where you want to go in your future, what am I going to do? And to be honest, nobody can tell you what you're going to do. It is you that's going to decide what you need to do based on the skills and experience you have identified. Okay? All right, please, if you're still with me, please share, use the chat box and where's that emoji sign? Let me know how you're feeling. I want to know that we're still together. So put your favorite emoji or put a reaction or something. I want to be sure that we're still together. I can't find that emoji thing, but yeah, you can just put it in the chat box. I want to be sure that we're still together. Okay, Chidima is smiling. Okay, all right. Other people, what's your reaction now? I just want to know that we're all together.
I've reacted, but you can't see it. They're using the emoji.
Okay, great. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna move on. Yeah, I just wanted to be sure that we're on the same page. Okay, we are not lost yet. Hallelujah. Okay, so I'm wrapping up now. So the next thing I want to really talk about is, now we've said a lot and spoken a lot of English on mapping your career. So I want you to think through. So let's go back to Slido. What challenges do you think you might face while trying to map your career? Let's start from there. Still go back to slido.com. As I said, it's going to be very interactive. What challenges? I mean, I've given you a really nice, it looks like speech, right, on what you need to do. But yeah, reality is reality. There would always be challenges. So what do you think those challenges would be that you might face while trying to map your career? Lack of opportunities, that's good. I definitely agree with you. financial challenges. Definitely. Yeah, because to go to French school to go and learn a language now, you're not going to give them stones. You need to pay. Yes. Imposter syndrome. I agree with you. Definitely. What other things? There's a message in the chat. I think everyone should meet OJ for financial challenges. OJ, they said you are our Shinzo. Okay, oh. Me, I'm coming to meet you. It's like I'm looking for money for one cause like that. Let me come and meet you. Lack of opportunities seems to be a big one. Lack of mentors or direction. I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you. What are the challenges do we think we might face while trying to map this so-called career we're talking about?
Praise, I think you're,
Land
can you
interest,
hear
lack
us?
of direction.
Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think, yeah, you were frozen for a minute, but it's fine, you're back.
Okay. All right. So someone said lack of good network in the chats. Okay. Someone has said fear, lack of direction, multiple underlying interests. Okay, so there's some things you've written here that I think are very important, but I didn't have in my presentation. So I'm going to address all of them, especially this multiple underlying interests. Yes. Okay. This person who wrote multiple underlying interests, if you don't mind, please reach out to me later. I need to share something with you. Lack of direction, financial challenges, lack of opportunities, fear, lack of networking, lack of mentors. All right, imposter syndrome. Let's move on. So interestingly, I have some of these things here. And I mean, especially imposter syndrome being a common barrier, lack of confidence, I saw fear, then work-life balance because you want to live, the dream life, go back home to play with your dog, and still go to work. I know someone dropped something in the chat. Okay. So I'm going to wrap up now. So now I really wanted us to talk about these challenges because it's beautiful to talk about all the things you need to do, right? But yes, if you don't have strategies on mitigating them or working around them, you might not be able to successfully map your career. So yes, you need to seek mentorship. Okay. I'm sure you can reach out to the organizers that's Inspire Africa because I know they have a mentorship program to like help you or map you with or connect you with mentors in the field you're interested in. Then building a support network, continuous learning is very important, joining professional networks, attending industry events. So the person who spoke about multiple underlying interests is going to I'll quickly talk about something called branding. Now, I'll use myself as an example. As someone who is very, I won't say multi-talented, but someone who can be very good at different things. I remember there was a time I was an MC. I was interning at a radio station. I could compare events. I was a good writer. I could write anything and all of those. And so I had multiple interests that were not on the line. And so what I had to do is something called branding. So branding is not just for people in business, but branding is even for us as individuals. Now, you can have different categories of branding, but the specific thing about branding when it relates to you as an individual are the specific things are personal branding and professional branding. Now, the thing with branding is, think about it this way. If you die today, what will people say about you? Whatever it is that you want people to say about you is your brand. If I die today, I want people to say that, Praise was an advocate for good education for girls, an advocate for menstrual health and hygiene, an advocate for, gender equality or equity. I mean, I'm just giving examples, an advocate for so, and so. Yes. That is what I want people to know about me when I die. Now that falls into a bucket called your personal brand. Now your professional brand is, what is that thing that you want people to know you for, like when you die, but also brings you money, but it's also like your career. So in my case, I had multiple unaligned interests, but when I asked myself that question, what are the things that, when I die, these are the things I want people to remember me for, then it helps me to be able to say, out of all these multiple interests that I have, these are the top interests that would help me to achieve that brand. That doesn't mean that you then neglect writing, being able to talk, and all of those other things. You need to sit in such a way that if I focus on those primary things and build myself in all of these different interest areas, these other interests that I have, maybe it's a talent or a skill, will one way or the other find expression. So I'm not an author and I'm not a television host, but the skills and my passion for talking and my interest in talking and all of those are skills that I'm now using in the things that I'm interested in. They will always find expression. Do you understand? Don't forget, you don't want to be a caterer, an actress, a doctor. I mean, some people do all of those things. You want people to know you for one thing. You can be a master of different things, right? But you want people to know you for one thing. And all the other things you can do will find expression in that one thing, okay? So now, a sample career map, I'm not going to go over this. I'm sure they'll share the slides, but you'll see that for this person, I used an app called eDrawMind, actually, eDrawsoft.com. I just played around. Okay, so if we're trying to come up with a career path for what's it called, a Nigerian public health professional, right? And so you'll see that this app is showing that this person needs to build skills and competencies in certain areas. They need to be good in epidemiology, biostatistics, environmental health, health policy, communication, leadership and project management. It needs to be a professional in the space, maybe get a master's or doctoral degree. Then they need to get into an organization, maybe do some research. You see, it's not linear. Now, on this side, we'll also see they have saying then maybe they need to start working towards improving healthcare in underserved communities. That's like working with the NGOs. They need continuing education, so maybe taking professional courses and all of that. And this just shows you, I just wanted to share this in case you are stuck, you don't know where to start from. You can go to this eDrawMind. It's an app, Wondershare eDrawMind, or click on this link. I mean, so you can have a picture and a feel of all of this. But I think that's it from my hand. I hope I've been able to successfully explain to you how you can map your career. I'm just going to cap it all with this. A very I won't say religious person, but I believe so much. I'm a Christian, and so there's nothing I do that I don't drag to God first. And so God is the ultimate orchestrator. So your career mapping and planning should be done with Him. At a point, you need to say, God, these are the things I'm interested in. I don't know what I need to do. Please lead me. Then always remember that people's career paths are unique to them. You don't need to follow the pattern of one person. Just identify trends, okay, and see how you can pattern yours with the trends. And then it's a journey, as I said. It's not a sprint, it's like a marathon. It is not linear. So prepare your mind to see a map that has an interesting shape. So thank you very much. Yeah, I think I'm going to hand over to Chidima and Cole. But as I'm handing over to them, you can just write what your key takeaways from this session are. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Praise. That was absolutely fantastic. I feel like you've compressed a lot of things that took, from my own experience, took me like a lot of years to learn, and then compressed it in an hour. So that was absolutely fantastic. Everything you said resounded, what you said about like the instance you gave about Google Map, like starting with where you want to go, right? So it's so easy to think about so many things. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I like this. Because at a point in my life, I liked everything. Like, oh, I'm good at this, I like it. But just thinking through, where do I want to end up at? And what you said about networking is very, very, very important. Like, I feel like people, we should all go through the chat box, because you may be thinking, oh, these are my long-term career goals. Someone has already like outlined how you're going to get there. And I love the picture, the instance you gave about the picture, like having something like, these are the people like I like to look forward to. One thing I like to do is I have a bigger picture of the kind of job opportunities I want to get. So oftentimes I go and then I look at it and kind of tick off, where am I at my skill level, at the bigger picture of where I want to be. So that was absolutely awesome. So we're going to give time for questions and answers. Feel free to still drop your comments. It's going to be, Praise is going to be sharing her screen. So please put in your key takeaways for this session. And while Praise was talking, she mentioned something about a worksheet. We do have a worksheet at Inspire Africa. The idea is to kind of help you think through, right? So as you're going through the worksheet, think of it as an exercise sheet. So you're going to think through, what are the things I learned? What are the action plans? What are the things I'm going to start doing? So this is a time for questions and answers. So if you have any question, you should have questions. Please feel free to put it on the chat box. While we put out the call for the registration, there are a couple of questions for you, Praise. So but however, we're going to give room for people here. So if you're bold enough, you can raise up your hand. If you feel like, hey, I just want to put my question in the chat box, please feel free to do that. So I'll check if there are raised hands. If there are no raised hands, I'll go ahead to ask Praise the questions that we got earlier before this session. So okay. I think that, Praise, I'll start with the first question that we got. So so someone says, I'm reading this literally right from the form. Hi sis, I've been your fan from the first day we met, but I have a question. How do I know which career path is suitable for me? So I think you kind of highlighted or said something about that, but given the instance you said someone that is also a multi-potential person, like, how do I know the career path that is suitable for me? So suitability can vary in terms of money, in terms of, there's a lot of things to consider. So Praise, that's the question. So I don't know if you have maybe additional insights to share with that.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm just taking notes. How do I know the career that is suitable for me? I think the key word here is suitability, right? You don't just want any career, you don't just want to do anything for doing sake because you just want to tick the box. It's very important for you to, as we said, understand yourself. So go back to that slide. I think that's slide 12, to really ask yourself, okay, who am I? What am I interested in? What are the skills that I have? What am I passionate about? And because that is where you start from, because there is no way you answer all of those 5 questions and things are not jumping out at you, and that just shows, that maybe this is what I'm really good at. And that then helps you to say, this is what is really suitable for me. And I liked what Chidima had mentioned the other time around, is this suitability in terms of money? Is it suitability in terms of status quo? Is it suitability in terms of location? For the tech guys, for example, someone who did computer science and wants to break into the tech space, some of them would want to relocate to Germany, for example, because Germany definitely has a lot of tech opportunities and all of that. And so they feel like, okay, this country is more suitable for me, and then begin to identify the popular tech roles in that environment, in that country, or in that region. But beyond that, I think it's more important for you to think around, you understanding yourself first. Once you understand who you are, suitability will jump at you. Okay.
Thank you very much. That was amazing. That was awesome. I think that's very important, because people think about suitability as, I think I like the way you were able to distinguish between passion and interest, and what actually also gives you money. Because oftentimes that's like a conflict where people come to, well, I like this stuff, but then I don't get money from it, right? So how do I navigate on both ends? So that's very beautiful. OJ, you have your hands raised. Please feel free to ask.
Hi,
Cash
Praise. Thank you
lady.
so much for the. Chief, madam, put me in trouble, please. I'm looking for money. Thank you so much for the insightful session. It was really, really insightful, and I have a lot of notes. I just wanted to ask about, so for instance, there's some people that have to like transition careers, right? Um, how does flexibility play into career plan? I know you already mentioned that things may not always go as planned, but I mean, it's always good to plan, right? So at what point do people have to consider transitioning careers, and what sort of flexibility is required when you already have the plan?
Thank you. Thank you so much, OJ. So I think, when I started, I also said that it's very good if you know what you don't want to do. You studied microbiology, but you know you don't want to be a microbiologist. I studied veterinary medicine for 7 years. That's with 1 year of ASU strike. So staying at home. And I'm still not, I'm not practicing. I don't know if in the future I'm still going to practice, but right now, I know I don't want to practice, okay? It's not that there's anything wrong with the sector. It's like people who studied law, they don't want to do law again. I have a very close friend. She did law. She's a barrister, but she's now a social media guru. It's okay. And to just answer your question, I think it really should start from you saying, if I continue with this thing, I'm going to get tired and I'm going to burn out. So before you get to that stage, it's where you need to really start telling yourself, I don't want to do this. And it is okay. It is okay. It is okay. I'm repeating it, okay? Now, to answer you specifically about flexibility, you don't need to be very rigid. People have different interests. People's career transitions might be based on circumstances. We know people that jackpot to the UK and they're now doing healthcare. Okay, some people is just a transient period that helps them to find their foots before they eventually do what they want to do. But don't forget, you need to have an idea, even if you don't know the specifics of how you get there. You need to have an idea that ultimately, this law thing, my lord, court order is not the thing I want to do. So you having that mental thing at the back of your head that it's okay that you don't want to do this thing, and start looking for options related to what you want to do. See, I remember I was looking at one of my very good friends. She was trying to japa. She was trying to go to school. There are some courses and some schools that they call them transition courses. I can't remember if that's the way they put it. Where schools are beginning to understand that people's interests might change. Okay, so she was going for physiotherapy or psychotherapy or something, but she studied Greek. But the school called that particular, so you can look for things like that are labeled. I don't know if they're called transition courses or something like that. So yes, it's okay to transition and say you don't want to do a particular thing. I hope I've answered you, OJ.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Praise that. Thank you very much, Praise. That was very awesome. And the key thing that stuck out to me from what you said is flexibility, right? Like sticking to something. If something doesn't work, or it's just probably better to change it. So that's really beautiful. So I think the other question that I see on the chat box is, I think you kind of highlighted to that, but I mean, I believe part of the reasons why people are asking this is probably is kind of like a present thing. So it's, do your interests have to be linked to, so does your interest have to be linked to your passion? So if my passion is making money, anywhere it is, that's my passion. Because I've literally met people like that. So like, oh, what? I don't have any goal. My goal is to make money. That's just it. So what happens when you're in? Also, the second question is kind of intertwined. So I'll just ask both of them at the same time. So what happens when your passion does not align with what you studied? So if you could just like answer both of them at once. Thank you.
Okay, great. Great. So I'm just going to take us back to what we had said earlier, the difference between interest and passion. Your passion is most likely permanent. It's most likely long-term. I'm passionate about green environment. That is a passion. It most likely would not change. You want clean, I don't know what it's called, to come out from exhaust pipes of cars. You want to have a lot of trees. That's something you're passionate about. You're passionate about, a world where we don't have gender-based violence, where we don't have rape cases. That's your passion. It's most likely permanent. It's most likely long-term. Now, the reason you're factoring in your passion is, in your career map, is it might also be something that helps you, in terms of, I want to make a career out of this. Okay? It's a process of you understanding yourself. Now, going back to your interests are like what you're currently vibing with right now. Interests most likely would change. Interests are most times temporary, but we have some people that their interests eventually turn into a passion. Do you understand the difference now? Now, for people that what they're interested in does not align with what they studied, you're not the only person in the world like that. I'm like that too. Okay, it's not. So how you navigate that is very tricky, but it is doable. I'm going to start from the angle of our parents. If you put yourself in the shoes of a parent that has spent a lot of money sending a child to study a particular course, and that child now comes back to say, you see, mommy and daddy, this money you sent in sending me to Ukraine to go and study medicine. Thank you very much. God bless you. This is your certificate. Whilst you see me, I want to be singing for Fela. If you are a parent, how would you feel? Okay. Yes, those things happen. And that is why sometimes it takes wisdom, especially when parents or people who have invested in you, the dynamics just, it changes a bit. But what you need to do at that point is you need to be true to yourself. You need to like set a timeline. This was also what happened to me when I told my parents. I had not a big fight, but it wasn't smooth for me. Moving from veterinary medicine to public health. My parents told me, you graduated from school. You go and work at Dr. Something's vet clinic. I was like, don't worry. I want to do public health. And it was a fight. They called family meeting on top of my head. But eventually, what I did was I gave myself a timeline. And I told my parents, I'll do this thing for 6 months. If my interests change, I'll do what you people want. But if I'm successful at it, it's getting better, then you people, you'd have to allow me. And it was so interesting that after 1 year, my dad changed his mouth and started telling people I was the one that advised Praise to go and do public health. I was like, this man, what are you talking about? But I'm just saying sometimes it takes wisdom. It's not black or white. It's not straightforward, okay? But you need to like be very strategic. If there are people that believe in you, that can talk to people who have invested in you in doing that thing, that this is where my interests currently lie. And you yourself, you need to, as I said, you need to have done some research. Show your parents or show people, these are the kind of people, this is what they've achieved. The people that have done so and so in this area that I'm interested in, this is what they have achieved. These are the potentials that, I can also have if I follow this area, okay? So I hope I've been able to answer that question.
Thank you very much, Praise. That was absolutely fantastic. And I think one thing now I'll add to that, and then we'll begin to wrap up the session, is I think generally within our context, like I mean, Africa, Nigeria, we're often afraid of change, right? Like it's like, oh gosh, I have to stick to this. Like if you try it and it's not it could be the thing that leads to the thing. So if it's not the thing, it may be something that leads to the thing. So it's okay, like if you give something a shot. And I know oftentimes that is like intertwined with a lot of things, family responsibilities, a lot of things are, but if it's not it's fine. Just give yourself a breather. I'll try something else. So this session has been absolutely fantastic. I've learned a lot from it. I've learned to be flexible. I've learned the importance of networking. Honestly, like most of the things you're going to get, a good number of it is going to come from networking. The kind of structure that we have today at Inspire Africa was built off on an offshoot of a networking event. That's where I met OJ. So it's really so important that you put yourself out there, think through. So the key things, what are your action points? Think. I think it's probably one of the hardest parts, right? To just sit down and really just think. Praise said it in a funny way, but think about your life. Not in a bad way, but really just think. And that's oftentimes very difficult. So we hope you found this session very interesting. As I shared earlier, we have we have a worksheet. So the idea of the worksheet is kind of like to help you. So oftentimes people, like, we finish attending sessions like this, you kind of forget, or like you think, oh, I got everything, but the worksheet is going to help you to think through. Now, I know most of you are like, wow, how do I connect with Praise? How do I, so this is, if you want to connect with Praise, she's on Instagram, Twitter, and on LinkedIn. So these are her handles. Feel free to reach out to her. And to the person that also asked the question on what if you have a lot of interest, as she said earlier, feel free to reach out. I'm sure Praise will be happy to connect and maybe have a conversation with you on that. We hope you've enjoyed this session as much as we have loved having you here. So at the end, what do you want to do with what you've learned? Remember, I talked about action points. What are the next steps for you? The materials and everything that, including Praise's slides, will be shared with you much later. And typically, we also upload sessions like this on our YouTube channel, and we're going to show you how to connect with us. Feel free to go back, revisit it once again. So we loved having you. And one of the key things that we value very well is feedback. So we want to grow better. What did you like about this session? What are the things that you feel like, oh, these are the things that I can do better? Please feel free to, I'm going to share the form now. This is the form. Please feel free to we encourage you, are pleading with you to fill the form. If there are other things you feel, because we have these virtual mastery sessions every month during the duration of our mentorship program. So feel free to give us feedback. Are there things you hope to see much better? Are there things you think that we could do much better? So in terms of recap, Praise has said a lot of wonderful things. Think through, rebrand yourself, think with your vision at the end, start from the end, then walk forward, right? Think about, how do I make myself a better place? And one of the key things I want you to know is be flexible. The fact that you study something does not mean you have to stick to it. So for instance, just like Praise, I studied medical laboratory sciences. While I was still in school, I knew that I did not want to practice. That was not necessarily my interest. So, and I also knew, like, I kind of like public health. I kind of dabbled into it a little bit, actually, but that's story for another day. But whatever it is you studied, always remember, keep being flexible, put yourself out there, seek out for opportunities, and look for ways for growth. And in terms of upcoming events, if you enjoyed this session, you're definitely going to enjoy much more also other sessions that we have. Praise was fantastic. It was absolutely amazing. I think next month we have a panel session. So typically the idea of our panel session is just going to be an opportunity to have people like ask questions. So we're going to be talking about transitioning careers in our next session. So it's just going to be much more interactive. We have different panelists who are doing amazing things. Maybe we should ask Praise to come back. That was on a lighter note. But yeah, it's going to be a very wonderful session where all the burning questions, people that ask questions about how do I transition careers, we're going to be talking about that. Everything, like almost every question you have on that, we're going to be answering it. So you don't want to miss this session. OJ shared how to connect with us and stay updated with our activities on the chat box. So if you want to get more information about this, we're going to also put that up as the time comes very quickly. And feel free to always reach out to us if you have more questions about what we do. OJ has also shared the link, or if you also want to scan our QR code, feel free to scan the QR code. You have access to our link tree, and this is where all our social media handles are: our LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. Catch up on everything that we do. And I think that pretty much brings us to the end of today's session. Now, before we leave, we like to keep memories of how we spent our Saturday with us. Remember, when I started, I was like, we feel very special that you take an hour, 30 minutes to spend your Saturday with us. So this is a time for our group photo. I know that maybe you're lying down, you feel like, but it doesn't really matter, really. So if you could put on your camera, and then we'll take a couple of pictures, and then afterward, we say goodbye to you. We hope you've enjoyed today's session, and we hope to have you in subsequent sessions. So I'll stop sharing my screen right now. So if you're comfortable, put on your cameras and then smile for the picture. Say cheese. So I'll give a couple of minutes for people to put on their cameras. I think I can stop recording.